Hello everyone, this is Arafellin, and I thought I'd do a quick one-off now and then. This is called Poker Defense, which it took me a while to find it again, but it was created for the GMC Game Jam number 15. Came in 7th place by Lolligirl TheSnidr. I'm not sure if it's still available anywhere. I found the reference to it in an archive of old game entries, and they don't seem to have the game itself there anymore. But in any case, the concept of the game is very simpler. It's basically a cross between a tower defense game and a poker game, although the cards are the same suit. You place your towers, the monsters spawn out of this cell, this little box on the right side. You're trying to stop them from getting to the castle gate on the left side. It keeps track of your score, the current wave, how many lives you have left, which is how many things you can allow into the castle without game overing. And some more information across the top. There's your cards when you have the card hand up. You get free towers at the beginning, and every so often as the game goes along, it tells you your current poker hand available, enemies on the screen, enemies left in the wave that have not yet spawned. And when you get your poker hand after each wave, you can click on each card once to randomly swap it for another card. And hopefully get a better hand. So here I end up with a pair instead of just a high card. We'll place that there. So the basic concept of basically any tower defense game is you want to give the enemies a long, meandering path, so that it takes them as long as possible to get to their destination, and your towers can be attacking them the whole time. I'll stick with a pair and not try to push my luck. And as it starts out, it's pretty simple. The enemies are fairly slow, fairly weak. As is usual for tower defense type things, the further you get into it, the faster and stronger the enemies get, and the harder it is to stop them. Already they're starting to get away from my little trap here. Let's try and get a better hand. I get 2 pairs. That's an improvement. Oh, there's one of my free towers. I think it's every... I'm not sure how often. Every 4 waves maybe you get one. But yeah, this is not the best starting setup here. I have a little path going, but once they're past the path, they can just go straight for the ending and not be shot at anymore. So early stages, you can definitely be better. There's a 4 of a kind, that's very nice. So the idea with this is which card hand you get determines which kind of tower you can place. The better the hand is, the better the tower is. 4 of a kind, I think, is the best that's available, and I believe this little laser beam has unlimited range, which is extremely useful in any sort of tower defense scenario. Here's a full house. Okay, that gives you a little Tesla coil kind of thing. As I recall, what that does is enemies need to be within a certain range for it to lock onto them, but once it's locked on, it can keep shooting no matter how far away they get. There's 2 pairs, and there's a free tower available. I'll try to start forcing them back towards the middle. But this being a game jam, it was created in a fairly short amount of time. I don't know the exact details, but that explains some of the unpolishedness. There's definite improvements that can be made in the interface, the graphics, sound effects, more interesting and appropriate music. One thing that I think would be an immediate help is if there was a better grid system for placing your towers. You can tell as you're placing it, you can see the little square where it can be placed that tells you what the tiles are, but there's no special indicator for when you would be blocking the path. If you try, it just says you can't place a tower there, but like the square itself doesn't change color. There's no grid overlay to help tell you whether there's something there or not. So, like here, it's kind of hard to tell if there's a space behind the tower sometimes. Yeah. And also, when you get deeper into the game, Another problem is you cannot replace the existing towers, so if you make it far enough, you eventually get to the point where you run out of empty spaces. And once you do that, you can't do anything else to the towers. You just hope your defenses last long enough to keep going. There can't place. I think that's a solid wall now. As I was saying, it's kind of hard to tell. It's an amusing game to play for a little while anyway. It's not particularly complicated, but it's a game jam. You don't expect it to be. It's just something to, quick bit of amusement. Yeah, I think I do now have a pretty good setup, at least for the opening part. And as this goes on, I would just kind of weave back and forth. Go into the corner here, back, send the path back this way. And so on. There's a tower we haven't seen before. This one throws, I think they're piranhas at the enemies. What those seem to do is latch on and do damage over time. Yeah, just some interesting little things here. It's definitely a neat concept, but it also definitely needs to be fleshed out more. Yeah. This has been Airfelon playing the Poker Defense.